So I've had a few attempts at this video because it's a far more complex subject than what is presented in this article, which I would argue is a hit piece of, to carry on with this intergenerational communication destruction. Think about this. For thousands of years, the young would listen to those older than them because of life experience, and it was part of the fabric of society, communication, communities. What was taken for granted, yeah. And in no small way, especially over the last 40 years in the education system in the West, has the subliminal been that what would older people know than you? You are the smartest generation. Don't listen to older people. Don't. Yeah? And then in this one, it's saying, from a simple thumbs up to laughing cowboy, there is an emoji for almost any conceivable moment, but it is the humble smiley face which is the most iconic of them all. However, if you've been sending smiley faces, think about the wording of this. However, if you've been sending smiley faces on your group chats, you might have been giving people the wrong idea. Think about this. Seriously. So for millennials and the older generations, and here goes the divide and conquer, after all, what would older people know? You see where I'm going here? A smiley face is just a way of expressing happiness, but it can have a very different meaning for Gen Z. So instead of being a genuine smile, Gen Z takes this grinning face to convey sarcasm or irony. How the hell did they get there is what I'm asking straight away. And I would look no further than who the hell has been educating the last couple of generations. Yeah? It went from the simplicity of learning life skills and the sciences, mathematics, a language, your language, primarily. Yeah, linguistics, art, music, geography, life skills. I remember as a child, even in primary, having learning to cook. Yeah, basics, all the rest of it. About competing, about learning to deal with failure and to deal with success. So much more. Now it's all about hurty words and fear of offending somebody else, and to also muck around with your own confidence from primary school age onwards to say, hey, you may be a wee boy, but you might identify as a wee girl or a dog or a cat, and we won't tell your parents, and we'll keep saying this to you every day, and we'll have all that propaganda on walls and so much more, as opposed to the basics that used to work. But this is part and parcel of the breakdown, yeah? And to create an entire society that is so scared of offending anybody that they over time say nothing, yeah? I mean, another part of this witchcraft is the promotion of mindfulness. Think about that. Mindfulness. That is textbook class A witchcraft right there, while masquerading as caring for others. Yeah? Hey, don't have a character, a personality. Don't be out there and, the reason why a lot of people are drawn to you. No, we'll turn it into don't stick your head above the parapet by saying anything. Don't say anything that, just be homogenized, go with the flow, don't stand out. Yeah? And this is another example of it. You could also drop into that one as well that, well, how many more people are or somewhere on that autism spectrum? Yeah, think about this. But then when you look at the amount of vaccines that children have been getting over the last few generations, and then, of course, other things, yeah, what they're exposed to chemically, there's no mistake. There really isn't. In fact, they've got another article here about scientists find toxic metals linked to autism in popular toothpaste. Now, they give some examples in there, like lead, arsenic, cadmium, various other things that you'd have thought, well, shouldn't be there, yeah? But in this article, as some others have worked out, Why are autism rates skyrocketing? Because all of it, mind you, this could have been worded better. So, because all of our food, or how about most, if not all, our food, water, products, and air are absolutely contaminated with metals, plastics, and pesticides. Yeah. But somewhere somebody went, they're talking about that, but vaccine manufacturers link toothpaste to autism. Well, I would argue they'll externalize some of it, which is, you should be very concerned about what's in your toothpaste. And maybe, hey, listen, in the comments, if you'd want me to do a vid on that, no problem at all. But they're also avoiding, the vaccines as being the potential problem, primarily, yeah? So, anyway, some of the comments. If some nut job wants to willfully misinterpret a smiley face, that's their problem. I'm not going to play their stupid games. Fair play. Well, that's their tough shit then. I don't care. Fair play. What a load of crap. These snowflakes need to get a life. Absolutely. Oh dear, snowflakes. Should the emoji be trans or wear a hijab? Would that make it more acceptable? The world is mad, complaining over a smiley face. Look, it all ties into the divide and conquer, and apparently this data came from an individual who wrote a book, who is an individual called Erica Dwawan. I'll go with that. I've mucked that up, but who's apparently a windswept and interesting individual who's a number one thought leader on 21st century teamwork and the embracement of AI and all the rest of it. But ultimately, this is about the push towards collectivism in the hive mind. And I'll speak to you soon.